Niall, Louis, Harry, Liam, Zane. Thank you. Hello, everyone. I hope you're all having a wonderful day today. My name is Dalal, and welcome to Popcorn and Soda, the show where we discuss all things movies, pop culture, and so much more. As always, I want to thank each and every one of you for making me a small part of your day. Today's show is going to be a little different. It's going to be a little different in terms of we're going to speak about a topic that has had a massive influence on my life, in my life as a creator, in my life as being in front of the camera and being comfortable in front of the camera. And that is influences that have shaped and got me to this point. And the tragic news this week of the passing of One Direction's Liam Payne, I wanted to take this opportunity to revisit my love of One Direction and all 5 of the boys in that band and their solo career since, because they have played a massive part in just me being here in front of the camera and wanting to be in front of an audience. And they've been a massive, massive influence on me for well over 10 years since they actually began. And what better way to pay tribute than to do a retro review of their documentary that came out about 10 years ago or so, I think even further at this point, One Direction, This Is Us. Usually I kind of have all of my videos kind of prepped out a little where I kind of know what I'm going to talk about, things that I want to make sure I hit on. This, I'm just going to just free flow because I think this is going to help me. I know it's going to help a lot of you who are massive One Direction fans or Liam Payne fans who have been really struggling with this news of his untimely passing. So unfortunate. 31, same age as me. And it's one of those things that really, really hit really close to home because this is the first time ever where I would say a celebrity or a musician or an artist where their passing really impacted me. And because I grew up with them. I grew up with their music. I grew up literally as the same year he was born. And it's just been a very, very tough week. The first couple of days were just kind of like, whoa, what is this? Then you kind of start listening to all of their music. But then you understand that this is a human being. And that's the one thing that, as I kind of ramble through my thoughts here today, is that I want everyone to know is, yes, they may be larger than life figures. Yes, they've influenced millions worldwide, me included. But at the end of the day, they're just human beings. And I think the more we start treating people in the spotlight as that, I think the better the world becomes, because he was a father, he was a son, he was a brother, he was adored by millions worldwide. And just the crazy negativity online that I saw with all the craziness that people are reporting it's just disgusting. And at the same time, I think us as society need to understand that people are people. And that's one thing I really, over these last 5 years of being in this space, the popcorn and soda, I've had a chance to interview and meet a lot of really, really cool people who I've watched their projects of since I was a little kid, people who've inspired me in so many ways. And the more that happens, yes, there are times where it's still like, super cool that, hey, I get to interview so-and-so because of their impact on my life. But biggest lesson I've learned out of all of this is they're human beings. And we should all treat them like human beings. I treat them like human beings when I get a chance to speak to them. And I get how sometimes people from outside looking in may not be able to differentiate between the idea of this person that we create because we see them on the big screen, we hear their music, we see them on TV. They're all human that just happen to do something very cool. That's what I'll say in regards to that. Let's be more kind to each other. Let's treat each other with respect. Let's treat each other with love and just the cyberbullying, the online bullying, um, leaving messages behind, a closed profile, or just all these trolls. It's just that really hurt. Um, but at the same time, part of the journey is the end, as Tony Stark once said. It's now a point where I think it's important. Yes, you grieve the loss of someone important who had a big influence, but let's also not forget to celebrate what they accomplished in their life. And the first thing I wanted to do is let's talk about One Direction, This Is Us. This is probably my favorite concert movie ever, because I feel like they release these every time someone becomes big. There's literally one every year on whoever the big star is at the time, whether it's a Netflix documentary, Amazon, whatever. I was never really a fan of them, and I'm still really not, because I think a lot of them are made for like vanity projects and just make some money. But this was the one that I really, really liked, because these five guys just felt like normal dudes, and that's why everyone connected to them. I connected to them. Fun fact, I watched the X Factor when they were originally on it, like literally live. And the funniest thing is it didn't air here in Canada, so I used to wait on their YouTube channel because they would kind of post every clip. I don't even remember, was it a Friday or a Saturday? I don't remember what the results shows were and the performances, but I was just a massive fan since day one. And you knew they were special. The reason why people adored them is because they weren't like one of those typical boy bands who were just dancing, who all had the matching outfits. They were just five simple guys who just had ultimate charisma, and they were just doing what they loved. And I think that's why people worldwide were so attracted to One Direction. I was equally, like, I was just blown away by their music. I've been such a big fan since their first album all the way to Made in the AM. And then even since then, all of their solo work, they've all done amazing stuff. The movie really highlighted that they're just individuals, but they're very everyday lads. They're everyday people. In the world at the time, like, boy bands weren't really a thing. It kind of went away. I think the last big boy band really was NSYNC. And I loved NSYNC too, don't get me wrong. Like, I think deep down I wanted to be in a boy band. I really feel like I did. That's why I always was a big fan of them. And NSYNC was a big band that I really enjoyed as well. But One Direction was my band. They were such a big influence on me. Although, yes, I'm not a musician. I'm not a artist in that sense. But they inspired me to follow my goals and follow my dreams. For that, I'm forever thankful. And the movie captures their journey from where they began to where they were in these massive stadium shows, breaking everything, all sorts of records. It was really the first big band that blew up on social media. The social media phrase kind of began with One Direction, where the fans kind of took this band and like it brought everyone together on whether it was Twitter at the time, Instagram, whatever, YouTube. And it just had such a massive influence and impact on their popularity because everyone was connected. So I love the movie in terms of really showing where they all came from. I love the live concert footage that they had in there. They also had the best song ever that was part of like the movie tie-in, which is a great song as well. I just love the movie because I just felt like you got to know more about the guys. It wasn't necessarily just all the music. It was the story behind the music, how they got there, and where they're going. So I think that movie was shot so well. And of course, it was directed by the late Morgan Spurlock, who of course was the person behind Super Size Me, the movie about eating McDonald's like 30 days in a row, which again, Morgan Spurlock did sadly pass away as well. So Morgan, rest in peace. But I just loved One Direction, This Is Us, because it humanized these five kids. And that's where they were. They were kids. They were like 16, 17. And imagine being at the top of the world at that age, and you can't really even do anything because anywhere you go, you cause hysteria. They were locked in hotel rooms. They had security around them all the time. And yes, to a lot of people outside looking in, it's like, whoa, they can do whatever they want, but they really couldn't because of how big their popularity was. Again, it goes back to what I said earlier. They're all human beings. People perceive others as superheroes and create these ideas of them in their head that aren't legitimate. And no matter how much money you have, no matter how much fame, popularity, it doesn't matter. You're a human being at the end of the day. We all have feelings. We all have issues we deal with. We all have problems. We all have demons. We all have good days. We all have bad days. And I think anything you guys can get out of me rambling, again, I don't even know what I'm talking about today, I'm just kind of speaking from the heart, is treat everyone with kindness. You don't know what anyone's going through. For someone at such a young age that went through such a traumatic in the sense of losing their anonymity, their freedom, but at the same time, of course, like I said, we got to celebrate all the amazing music they made and all the joy that they put into so many people's lives. I think that's equally important to bring up. And yes, they went through a lot, but they also got a lot out of it and they gave a lot out of it. So it's one of those things where it's such a tricky thing. It's all depending on perspective, right? I highly recommend, if you're a One Direction fan, I know a lot of Directioners over this last week have been revisiting old movies, concert movies. They released a couple other concert videos as well, but they weren't feature films. Go back and visit and watch One Direction, This Is Us, because I think it's a really good movie. I think it's very well produced. Great trip down memory lane. Listen to their music. And I hope that helps find some solace in this grief that everyone's feeling with the passing of Liam Payne. And I kind of want to touch up on that a little because, again, it's such a sad thing that happened. You know, as I said, everyone's going through a battle that nobody knows about. And some people are better at hiding their battles. Some people are better at keeping their battles to themselves. And some do the right thing and they seek help. And to anyone who may be struggling out there, seek help. Talk to someone. You should never have to fight a battle by yourself, because that is when it gets really tricky, and that is when your mental health can be very badly affected. And as someone who's suffered from mental health issues and who still does, a lot of creatives, you know, I look back at how I handled it when I started going through it, and you know, it's a work in progress. It's never something that just goes away like that. But I wish I'd talked to people more, and I didn't. And yes, I'm in a much better place today, but those issues still come up. I acknowledge it, and I do what I can to move forward. And it's not easy. There's tough days, there's great days, but for anyone out there who's really struggling with it, please seek help. Talk to someone, because no one should have to suffer alone. It's the whole Liam Payne thing, just, again, it's the first time I've actually been impacted by the passing of someone in the spotlight, because I just feel for him, his son, his family. Yes, life is tragic, life is beautiful, people pass away all the time, but it's okay to celebrate and grieve over those who you never met, who didn't know personally, because of the impact that they had in our lives. And Liam Payne had a massive impact on my life. He's one of my favorites in the group, and just, he had a few very publicly troubled years, and you always want to hope for the best, that they get better, they get the help that they're getting. Rest in peace to him. I hope you're in a better place. I hope you're at peace. I hope you can finally rest easy. Thank you for all the music. Thank you for all the memories. Thank you for helping millions of people worldwide. And your legacy will continue to live forever. One Direction will continue to live forever. And I think that what this has taught us is love more, hate less, spread joy, be in the moment, tell those who you love that you love them, and most importantly, just be good to one another, be kind to one another, because there's a lot of beauty in this world, but there's also a lot of negativity. And over this last week, all the craziness with his passing, the reporting and everything, it's just beyond crazy and beyond disgusting how society deems it okay that people can be spoken about like this, especially after their passing. But, we do what we can. So this message goes out to everyone who is grieving this loss, to his family, to his friends, that I hope you're all doing okay. For all the directioners, hang in there. I'm there with you. This is going to take a while to get over, but such is life. We have the memories and we celebrate all the good times that Liam provided us. That's it, guys. That's all I got. Thank you all for tuning in. I hope you're all well, and I'll see you next time on Popcorn and Soda.